Please join me in welcoming
Oh my gosh, I am just speechless. I can't thank you all enough for your outpouring of love. And this is what Worcester Prep is all about. And this is what I have enjoyed every single day of my 44 years that I have been here. I've often told Barry that I've never had a day, not one day, that I haven't looked forward to going to work. And it's because of all of you, your children, and it's just been a marvelous, marvelous time. Now, I'm going to go back to my persona as that first grade teacher because I always felt that all good stories begin with once upon a time. And that is how my story begins as well. Once upon a time, a little girl named Celeste was born in the city of Baltimore. She was the second of 8 children. She went to school and enjoyed learning, although she was often distracted by the birds outside her classroom window. Her first grade teacher would correct Celeste and tell her she needed to pay attention to the alphabet and learn how to read. Now, the little girl did learn to read and write and spell. She learned all about Dick and Jane and Spot and Puff and little sister Sally. She learned to write in cursive, and she worked diligently on perfecting her handwriting skills. It had to be just so, or her fingers would be smacked by the teacher's ruler. Now, Celeste's family loved camping. Now, this was the only way to travel with 8 children in the 1950s. Now, on a summer camping trip along the Skyline Drive, Celeste asked her parents if she could go on a nature hike with one of the park naturalists. The naturalist was a woman who loved birds. As they hiked through the countryside, she spoke about the birds and their bird calls, and she showed pictures in the book to those on the hike. Now, young Celeste was thrilled, and immediately following the hike, she asked her parents if she could purchase one of those beautiful field guides. That was the beginning. Celeste worked hard in school. Science and math were always her favorite subjects. She also loved being out of doors, hiking, camping, bird watching, canoeing, and walking through the woods in the parks near her home. She decided to be a teacher when she grew up, and she went to college to learn the art of teaching. Then a wonderful thing happened to Celeste. Mr. Franklin Lynch called her to ask if she might take over the position as first grade teacher. Without hesitation, Celeste accepted Mr. Lynch's offer and signed her first contract to teach at the new Worcester Country School in Berlin, Maryland. That day was another beginning. The young teacher had a lovely classroom with a big window that looked out over a large soybean field. Celeste loved the children, and she wanted to share her love of learning and her love of birds with her classes. She never corrected students when they looked out of the windows or when they pointed to a bird sitting on the windowsill. In fact, the children were so excited to watch birds that they worked together with their teacher to establish an area for a bird sanctuary garden. They started by selling birdseed to raise money, and they bought feeders and plants for their garden. Her students loved scooping and weighing the birdseed and putting it into big bags for all their customers. And the following day, they delivered the birdseed to their parents and their friends who also enjoyed bird watching. Now that might sound like a big job for 6-year-olds, but the children were always up to the challenge and they had a lot of fun. Year by year, the bird sanctuary grew, and Celeste's children planted trees, shrubs, and flowers. They also made bird feeders, and they filled up their feeders every day. The birds came, and the children became great bird watchers. Their observational skills were incredible, and some of the birds they spotted in their sanctuary were added to the rare bird alert list in the state of Maryland. Celeste students knew how to identify different spring and fall warblers, and they wrote about their observations to the Laboratory of Ornithology at Cornell University. The first grade techie ecologists, as they were then called, were one of the first school groups in the country to take part